Donald Trump is a name known all over the world. Some people say he's a businessman. Some say he's a TV star. Others know him as a former president. But behind the name, there is a real person. A person with dreams, problems, success, and failure. This is not just a story about power or fame. It is a story about taking risks, making mistakes, and coming back stronger. Whether you like him or not, his life is full of lessons. Today, we are going to walk through that journey together. From a small boy in New York to the most powerful office in the world. From success to failure, and back again. This is not about politics. It's about a human life. A bold life. A life with lessons for anyone who wants to grow, improve, and believe in something big. Maybe you're trying to learn English. Maybe you're trying to build your future. Wherever you are, this story has something for you. So sit back. Listen closely. Let's begin with the beginning. Before the skyscrapers. Before the fame. Before the red hats and television cameras, there was just a little boy named Donald. He lived in a big house in Queens, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. His father was successful. His family had money. But that did not make life easy. Donald was different. Loud. Confident. Full of energy. He did not always follow rules. He liked to do things his own way. Some teachers liked that. Others did not. As a child, he liked to compete. He liked to be the best. Some kids wanted to play. Donald wanted to win. This personality would never leave him. It was the start of something big. And maybe something dangerous, too. Even as a child, he had dreams that were larger than life. He did not want to live a small, quiet life. He wanted more. And as we will see, he never stopped chasing more. Donald John Trump was born on June 14, 1946. He was born in Queens, New York, into a large family. His father, Fred Trump, was a real estate developer. That means he built homes and apartments. Fred was serious, hardworking, and rich. Donald's mother, Mary, came from Scotland. She spoke with a strong Scottish accent and loved her children deeply. Donald had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. They lived in a large house with many rooms, nice furniture, and a big yard. But even in a big family, Donald stood out. He was louder. He was stronger. He wanted attention. He was not afraid to speak his mind. At home, that made him fun. At school, it made him difficult. Teachers called him energetic. Some said he was wild. His parents worried. What would happen if Donald didn't learn to control his energy? What kind of man would he become? When Donald was 13 years old, his parents made a decision. They sent him to military school. It was called the New York Military Academy. It was not a regular school. Students wore uniforms. They marched in lines. They had to follow strict rules. Every minute of their day was planned. For many kids, this would be scary. But Donald adjusted. Slowly, he began to focus. He learned how to organize his energy. He became a student leader. He played sports. He was good at baseball and soccer. He liked being in charge. He liked to win. The discipline of military school did something important. It showed Donald that he could be more than just loud and wild. He could be strong, smart, and successful, if he worked for it. This was a turning point. He started to believe that he could become someone important. And he never forgot that feeling. At military school, Donald wasn't just a student. He was training for life. He learned how to speak with confidence. He learned how to make fast decisions. He learned how to lead people. And most importantly, he learned how to push himself. He didn't always get good grades. He wasn't the best student in the class. But he knew something about himself, he had the will to win. That mindset, never give up, would become part of who he was. Later in life, he said, if you're going to be thinking anyway, you might as well think big. That way of thinking started right here, in military school. It wasn't about being careful. It was about being bold. Donald wanted to be rich. He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be great. And he believed it was possible. He started looking at the world not as it was, but as it could be. Donald's time at military school changed him. But he was still Donald. Confident. Competitive. And dreaming big. After high school, he wanted to stay close to business. He first went to Fordham University in the Bronx. But after 2 years, he made a big move. He transferred to the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. Wharton was famous. It was one of the best business schools in the country. Donald said it was the best school in the world. He studied finance and real estate. That means learning about money, property, and investment. But Donald didn't just study for grades. He wanted to learn how to win in the real world. During summers, he worked for his father's business. He visited construction sites. He met bankers and lawyers. He started asking questions. He was not just a student. He was becoming a businessman. Donald's first big idea came in the 1970s. There was an old hotel near Grand Central Station in Manhattan. It was called the Commodore Hotel. It was dirty, broken, and losing money. Most people thought it was worthless. But Donald saw something else. He saw location. He saw potential. He made a plan. He worked with the city government to get a tax deal. Then he worked with a company called Hyatt to help him fix and run the hotel. It was a bold move. He was only in his 20s. But he believed in himself. He believed in his idea. The hotel reopened as the Grand Hyatt. It was beautiful. It was successful. And suddenly, people started saying, "Who is Donald Trump?" After the success of the Grand Hyatt, Donald Trump became hungry for more. He now had money. He had attention. And he had big ideas. His next dream was to build something new. Something that would carry his name forever. He bought land on Fifth Avenue, one of the most expensive streets in the world. And there, he built Trump Tower. It was tall, gold-colored, and full of glass. It had stores, offices, and his personal home at the top. Everything inside was shiny and expensive. He wanted people to walk in and say, "Wow." And they did. Trump Tower became a symbol, not just of money, but of style, risk, and power. People started seeing Donald Trump not just as a businessman, but as a brand. His name began to mean something. And for Donald, that was just the beginning. Trump Tower was just the beginning. After building that skyscraper, Donald Trump had a taste of something powerful: public attention. People were talking about him. His photo was in newspapers and magazines. He was not just a man behind a desk. He was now becoming the face of big business. He started making deals for more buildings in Manhattan. He bought the Plaza Hotel, one of the most famous hotels in New York. He put millions of dollars into fixing it. "I don't just see bricks," he once said. "I see beauty, power, and a story waiting to be told." Donald wanted his name on everything. He created Trump-branded hotels, apartments, office towers, even airplanes, and a university later on. His style was always the same: big, bold, gold. Some people loved it. Others said it was too much. But Trump didn't care. He wasn't building for small dreams. He was building his version of greatness. In the 1980s, Trump moved beyond New York. He went to Atlantic City, New Jersey. It was a place where people came to gamble, play, and spend money. There, he built casinos, big ones. First came Trump Plaza. Then Trump Castle. Then the most expensive casino in the world at the time, the Trump Taj Mahal. It had 18 restaurants, a massive gaming floor, and gold decorations everywhere. The building sparkled. It was huge. Trump said it was the eighth wonder of the world. But behind the lights, the numbers were not always good. Casinos cost a lot to run. Many were built with loans. But Trump kept going. He thought that if he just kept building, the money and success would follow. He was taking big risks, but that was his style. He believed confidence could fix almost anything. By now, Donald Trump was more than a businessman, he was a celebrity. He was rich. He was bold. He loved the camera. He gave interviews, appeared on talk shows, and even did cameos in movies. He wrote a book called The Art of the Deal, where he shared how he thought about business and success. In the book, he wrote, "Deals are my art form. I like making them." The book sold millions of copies. It helped shape his image, Donald Trump, the master dealmaker. His fans saw him as smart and strong. His critics called him lucky and loud. But again, Trump didn't care. He believed in promoting his brand, himself. The Trump name was now a logo. A brand. A symbol. And that was exactly what he wanted. But success can be dangerous. When you rise too fast, you can fall hard. And Donald Trump was about to face that. In the early 1990s, his empire began to shake. His casinos were losing money. The economy was weak. He had taken too many loans. His businesses owed billions of dollars. That's right, billions. One by one, his properties started struggling. Banks wanted their money back. Newspapers wrote stories about his fall. People who once cheered for him started to laugh. They said, "Trump is finished." For someone who loved winning, it was painful. But what did Donald do? He didn't hide. He didn't give up. He went back to the table. He started making new deals, this time to save what was left. It was a dark time for Donald Trump. He had to give up some control of his companies. He had to sell assets, famous buildings, yachts, even an airline. His name was still big, but the money was gone. Many people in business would have quit. They would have said, "It's over." But Trump didn't say that. He said, "I never give up." He worked day and night. He renegotiated with banks. He found ways to reduce his debt. He focused on survival. Slowly, piece by piece, he began to rebuild. It wasn't easy. It wasn't fast. But it was real. He said later, "Sometimes losing a battle helps you win the war." That's how he saw failure, not as the end, but as a lesson. Something to grow from. Something to fight through. Over the next few years, Trump started a comeback. He changed how he did business. He realized he didn't always need to own everything. Instead, he could license his name. That means other companies paid him to use the Trump brand on their buildings. They built the towers. He gave the name, and got paid. This idea saved him. He made money without taking on big debt. And slowly, the Trump name became strong again. Around the world, Trump buildings started rising, in Chicago, Las Vegas, Istanbul, and even the Philippines. He didn't build them himself. But his name was on the front. And that name meant something again. He had found a new way to win. A smarter way. The brand had become the business. And it worked. By the early 2000s, Trump had found something new, television. He was already famous, but now he wanted to become more famous. In 2004, he launched a new reality show called The Apprentice. In the show, young business people competed for a job in the Trump organization. Each week, They faced challenges. They worked in teams. They sold products, planned events, and made business decisions. Trump watched them closely. He listened. He judged. And at the end of each episode, he chose one person to leave. With a serious face, he looked at them and said the now famous words, "You're fired." The show was a huge success. Millions of people watched it every week. And Donald Trump became something new, an entertainment icon. The Apprentice made Donald Trump even more powerful. It showed him as a boss, a leader, a decision-maker. People saw his tall buildings, his gold office, his fancy suits. To some viewers, he looked like the perfect businessman. Young people began to say, "I want to be like Trump." Even people who didn't like him started to watch. He was interesting. He was unpredictable. He was everywhere. He used this fame to grow his brand more. He sold Trump ties, Trump water, Trump steaks, even Trump board games. Not all of these ideas worked, but that didn't stop him. For Trump, the goal was always the same: be seen. Be remembered. Stay in the spotlight. He had turned his name into a kind of business machine. It was something the world had never really seen before. Donald Trump had talked about running for president before. People didn't take him seriously. They thought he was just looking for attention. But in 2015, he made it official. He stood at Trump Tower and said, "I am running for President of the United States." The media laughed. Other politicians said, "He won't last a month." But they didn't understand something: Trump knew how to get attention. He knew how to speak directly to people. He knew how to use television and social media better than anyone. While others gave long speeches, Trump gave short, strong messages. Some people loved him. Some people hated him. But nobody ignored him. In 2016, Donald Trump shocked the world. He won the election. He became the 45th President of the United States. It was one of the most surprising political wins in American history. He had never worked in government before. He was not a general. He was not a senator. He was a businessman. A celebrity. A brand. But now, he was in the White House. Some people said it was a mistake. Others said it was a victory for outsiders. No matter what side you were on, it was clear, Donald Trump had made the biggest comeback of his life. From business failure, to television star, to president. It was a journey few people believed possible. But he believed it. And that belief changed everything. Donald Trump's rise to the presidency was not only about politics. It was about media, image, and power. Before running for office, he had already built a kind of public character. People saw him as strong, direct, and full of confidence. He used this character on The Apprentice, and later, he used it in speeches and interviews. Trump understood one big thing: attention is power. He didn't need long plans or quiet talks. He needed headlines. His face was on every television channel, every website, every newspaper. When he spoke, people listened, even if they didn't agree. He used Twitter to talk to millions of people directly. No filters. No editors. Just his words. For the first time, a public figure didn't need the media, he became the media. And this strategy worked. It brought him closer to the people who felt unheard. It made him different. And for many, different was exciting. During this time, the Trump brand was everywhere. Even while he was president, his buildings and companies continued around the world. Trump hotels, Trump golf courses, Trump merchandise, it was a brand that carried both fame and controversy. Some people traveled just to stay in Trump properties. Others avoided them. But no matter what people thought, the name Trump meant something. It stood for boldness, luxury, and risk. It stood for going your own way, even if others disagreed. Trump used every platform: TV, social media, business, politics, to grow his image. He showed the world how influence can grow from many places, not just from school or government, but from personality, media, and belief. It wasn't always smooth. He made mistakes. He caused debate. Whether you agreed with him or not, Donald Trump changed the way many people see success and leadership. He didn't follow traditional paths. He didn't wait for permission. He made his own lane. From business meetings to reality shows to world politics, he walked in with confidence. Sometimes that confidence worked. Sometimes it did not. But his story teaches something powerful: if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. During his presidency, the world watched every move he made. Every word became news. Every action created discussion. In this way, Donald Trump became more than a businessman or politician. He became a symbol of confidence, of challenge, of bold choices. His voice, style, and decisions changed the conversation. And through it all, he kept being himself. That, for better or worse, was part of the secret. Trump's time as president was full of action and emotion. It was unlike any presidency before it. He made quick decisions. He spoke in simple, direct words. He used social media to talk to the world in real time. His supporters loved his honesty. His critics said he was too bold. But one thing was clear: he made the world pay attention. Foreign leaders watched him. Markets moved when he spoke. People debated every policy, every speech, every tweet. His style was new, and it shook the system. Trump often said, "Make America great again." It became more than a slogan, it became a movement. Millions followed him. Millions opposed him. But he made his mark. Whether people cheered or protested, they all knew, history had been changed. He had taken a chance that few thought possible, and he had won. Trump's presidency ended in 2021, but his story did not stop. He remained in the spotlight. He gave speeches. He continued business. And many believed he might return to politics one day. But even after leaving the White House, one lesson was clear: Donald Trump had lived a life of extreme highs and lows. A life full of risk, change, and decisions. Some people see his story as inspiring. Others see it as controversial. But in every country, in every language, people heard his name. They studied his story. They asked, how did he do it? The answer is not simple. It includes wealth. It includes media. It includes belief. But most of all, it includes will. The will to act. The will to rise. And the will to keep going when others stop. Now, let's turn to you. What can you learn from this story? You don't have to become rich. You don't have to be famous. But you can learn to be bold. You can learn to take action. Donald Trump didn't wait for perfect conditions. He moved forward, even when the future was unclear. He took risks that scared other people. Sometimes he won. Sometimes he lost. But he kept learning. You can do the same. If you're learning English right now, maybe it feels hard. Maybe it's slow. But just like Trump believed in his vision, you must believe in your progress. Even one word a day is a step forward. Just keep going. Confidence grows with time and action. Trump's story also teaches us about failure. Most people fear it. They run from it. But Trump faced failure many times. Casinos that closed. Businesses that went bankrupt. Headlines that attacked him. But he always came back. He said, "What separates winners from losers is how they react to failure." You can take that idea into your own life. Maybe you failed a test. Maybe you made a mistake at work. Maybe someone told you, you can't. That's okay. Failure is not the end. It's a chapter. Just one part of your journey. Like Donald Trump, you can rise again. You can rebuild. You can change your plan, but never change your goal. Never forget the power of coming back stronger. Another lesson from Trump's life: think big. He didn't dream of small houses. He dreamed of towers. He didn't dream of being local, he dreamed of being global. If you're going to be thinking anyway, you might as well think big, he once said. That's something you can try, too. Think beyond your town. Beyond your classroom. Learn English to open the world. Make your goals larger than fear. Be bold in your dreams. You don't need to follow the same path as Trump. But you can follow that way of thinking, dare to dream. Take that first step. Then the next. Your future can change because of what you believe today. So here we are. You've now walked through the story of Donald Trump. The boy from Queens who built towers. The man who lost money, and made it back. The businessman who became a TV star. The celebrity who became president. You may like him. You may not. That's okay. But his story is not just about one man. It's about the journey. The action. The fight. And the dream. Trump's life is not a straight line. It goes up and down, like a roller coaster. But through it all, he kept moving forward. That's the part we can all respect. That's the part we can all learn from. Thank you for watching and listening. You are here because you want to learn. You want to grow. And that's powerful. Stories like this one are not just history, they are tools. They help you learn English. They help you think bigger. They show you how people build their lives, step by step, word by word. So keep learning. Keep listening. Keep reading stories that inspire you. One day, your story might be told too. And maybe someone will say about you. You know the name. But do you know the story? The next chapter is yours to write.